Hey guys, it's QuickyBaby and welcome back to World of Tanks. This time we are going to be watching Galaxy playing in their Tier 6 Japanese Heavy that I like to call Big Momma. Now this vehicle is very powerful when it is top tier, so Galax has to be very happy about this matchup. But there's a lot of good players on the enemy team as well, so he's going to have a good role if he wants to win. And what better tank than Big Momma to be able to do that on Himmelsdorf? The weakness of Big Momma... Oh! The weakness of Big Momma is not her boobs, believe it or not. Do not shoot this part of the tank unless it is the flattest surface, as the boobs of Big Momma are still 150 millimeters thick. Also, well, the arse of Big Momma is also 150 millimeters thick. So you might as well be shooting it in the front or the back. It doesn't even matter. Both are pretty much the same. And if you thought the back of the turret was a weak point as well, well, that's not the case either. This hexagon-shaped turret is angled in 150 millimeters at the back. You really want to get the side, this 70 millimeters here, hopefully not shooting below the hull where there's spaced armor if you want to take out this vehicle. But when you're on the streets of Runeberg, Big Momma can't be flanked in the side. She can just show her butt and her boobs to the enemy, and she's going to be able to handle most opposition that come her way. And when she is equipped with a 150 millimeter main cannon, the results are generally very painful for lower tier tanks. That tier 5 British light tank, the Crusader, didn't really know what hit him. He's probably thinking, oh gosh. But that's nothing new for tier 6. Well, I'm not going to pretend that that's a new feature at tier 6. Everyone knows about the KV-2. And the KV-2 is faster, it's got better penetration on its high explosive rounds. But very interesting, what Galaxy is doing here is he's firing AP rounds. Now the AP rounds on this tank are superior to the AP rounds on the KV-2. So it's that kind of little bit better here, little bit worse here feature of this 150 millimeter, choosing it on this tank. And it does allow you to pick apart lightly armored targets very well indeed. 120 millimeters of penetration is enough to go through the Crusader, but unfortunately the accuracy of this tank, which is 0.58, means that even shooting Cromwells at maybe 300 meters, you haven't got that good of a chance to be able to hit. It's all in the RNG. And let's see if this Cromwell's RNG is up. He was last spotted there. Well, yes, it certainly is up, as Galax managed to take down that Cromwell. Oh my word, it's a dream. Now Galax is lining up a shot at the TOG-2. The TOG-2 must feel rather disappointed about this 9.10 patch. Previously, such a gigantic vehicle at tier 6. Oh my word, 689 damage. Big Momma feasting on the tier 6 British heavy tank. That TOG can't feel too happy. And 120 millimeters of penetration was enough to go through the TOG at this kind of range. Now the high explosive round would probably not have gone in. So good choices so far by Galax to be firing all these AP rounds, and they're working out really well indeed. The Panzerfahr H again taking 356 damage, securing Galax's third kill of the game. Now I like what Galax is doing here with angling his armor. Means that his 70 millimeters of side armor isn't exposed, and only the 150 at the front, which is, when he angles it, even thicker. It can go up to about 160, 170 millimeters of effective armor when you angle the front or the rear of your tank very well. Now there is a choice of guns on this vehicle. It's something that I've been debating myself backwards and forwards for the last 10 or so games that I've been playing in this. Misses the TOG there. Ouch. That one could have very easily gone in, ruining that TOG's day. Now I'm just going to run down the stats of the two guns here. This 150 millimeter has 2.4 rounds a minute rate of fire. That's not very good. That means it takes 25 seconds to reload this tank before you start taking into account crew skills and gun rammers and vents. Can he hit this T-34-85? Ricochets off the turret. Now I'm pretty sure that if Galax had fired a high explosive round there, it would have either taken out the T-34-85, had about 380 points of hit points left, or at least crippled him for the rest of the game and made him a one-shot for pretty much everyone. By firing this 120 millimeters of penetration AP round, it's kind of going for an all-or-nothing style of gameplay. Now this is where Big Momma really does start to suffer. The artillery has found her, dumping in 295 points worth of damage, the first penetrating shot that she has received all game. But the TOG, with its 90 millimeters, oh no, it's not got a 90 millimeter, has it? It's got a 17 pounder, right? But it's got very good penetration for a 17 pounder on the TOG, which manages to get through the front of the armor. Now another challenger reaches the fray, and now Galax is 1 versus 5. Oh gosh, there we go. There is the very weak side armor, an AP round going straight through the side of the rival Big Momma. This is such a ridiculous situation. She bounces off the front of Galax, and Galax reloads a high explosive round. But oh wait! What is this? Matilda has got the back of her. That is not a weak point on the back of this tank. The high explosive round there, doing just enough damage to go through and taking out the rival OI on the enemy team. And this Matilda has shot him about 7 or 8 times in the back, all doing absolutely no damage. And Galax is basically going, I don't care about you. I don't care about you. And the Matilda's got pretty good penetration. Oh my word, one right through the Dickomax there, taking him down. And he's still ignoring this Matilda, worried, I guess, about the TOG coming round the corner. And Galax is doing exactly the right thing here. It's better to use the bum of Big Momma than it is to turn her side, where the tanks could penetrate her. Oh dear, Mr. TOG, that was a little brave. Comes around the corner and gets shut down. And now the Matilda is deciding to fire APCR ammunition at the back of Big Momma, and even that is not working. Oh gosh, stop playing with your food here, Galax. Turn that tank around and finish off that poor... Oh, that's the Tier 5 Soviet medium tank. I thought it was one of the Tier 4 British medium tanks. Oh dear, there's only one way this is going to end for the Matilda, and that is disaster. Oh, blowing the head off. Talk about rubbing it in, rubbing salt in the wounds of that poor Matilda there, taking the head clean off. And gosh, that TOG doesn't look very big anymore. Now the Big Momma's in town. Gosh, 3,783 damage that we have seen so far, 7 kills, and currently in a 1 versus 5 situation, trying to finish off the game against the Hummel. What an absolutely ridiculous round so far. The only rounds penetrating the tank was that AP round from the 17 pounder on the TOG, and obviously the high explosive round that hit from the Hummel. Now Galax has loaded an AP round and is waiting to get revenge on that Tier 6 German SPG, that self-propelled gun. And if the Hummel manages to find the side of Big Momma, that could be really bad. I can see 500 damage happening. The Hummel decides to blind fire that fence post. That's one of the reasons why you should never be near objects inside a cap circle. If you're near objects, then that's pretty much giving... Well, it takes the randomness out of the cap circle. So if I was an artillery, the places I would be splashing are here, behind the dead SU-100, perhaps here in the bushes. And he's got a lot of time to do work. Remember, this is an encounter cap, so it takes a very long time to be able, for one person to be able to cap. But it looks like Galax has found the Hummel. The Hummel hasn't even spotted Big Momma yet. Spots her too late. And Galax finishes it off. So Galax showed you exactly why Big Momma is certainly a tank to be afraid of when she's top of the food chain. But I want to demystify this, and I want to give you guys an advantage on the battlefield of how you can take out these Japanese Frankenstein behemoths as effectively as you can. So let's take a look at the armor profile, and maybe we can find some weaknesses to Big Momma. So here is Big Momma in all her glory. I like to use the Tanks GG website these days for when I'm analyzing armor models. So when we look at the collision model, we can see that the whole of the front of the tank is 150 millimeters thick. And when we've got the side of the tank, the turret is still 150 millimeters thick. And the side of Big Momma's boobs is still 150 millimeters thick as well. The rear turret is 150 millimeters all round. The back of the tank is 150 millimeters. And the lower plate is actually quite well angled unless you're a very low profile tank shooting up at it. So that is a disaster to try and pen the tank there. You want to fire at the upper half of the rear plate, and don't even bother to shoot it in the back of the turret, because as we can see here with the angling on this hexagon, this kind of nut-shaped turret, it means that the back is up to 170 millimeters effective unless you have a flat surface. So my number one tip, obviously if you can get the side of the tank, you only need 70 millimeters of armor to get through the whole of this side area here. Think about this ridge coming out. Anything below that has quite a lot of spaced armor, so as you can see it goes up to 150. You want to shoot above that area, 70 millimeters. This is your key to taking this vehicle down. But what if you can't get the side? What can you still do to this tank to frustrate the hell out of it? Well, there is one big problem. As we can see here, the tracks do not actually cover this area of side armor in here. There's no spaced armor here. So it's actually only 35 millimeters, 39 millimeters thick on the front. Now, of course, if you're completely front on, you still won't be able to shoot this area. But what you will be able to do is to fire high explosive rounds here. And if you fire high explosive rounds here, it's likely they're going to splash over the side and do quite a lot of damage. Next, to what quite a lot of drivers of this tank will do is slightly angle the armor to increase its effectiveness. If they do this, you can see this whole side area here is only 40 millimeters thick. So if you can manage to sneak a shot in here or sneak a shot in here on the other side, that's an easy win. And it's the same if you get the back of this tank. If you have the back of this tank like this, look in here, only 40 millimeters thick, and that's quite a big target. That's a real big weak point to hit. And even if you shoot through the tracks here, you're probably going to take the tracks off and still go through the 80 millimeters of effective armor that the tracks have if you miss that area. Just don't shoot to the right of this weak point, because as we can see, it quickly becomes 40 to 186. That's going to be a ricochet there. And so if in doubt, fire high explosive rounds or AP rounds at these locations of the tank. You're going to do a huge amount of splash damage to them and eventually bring them down. But if you have about 160 millimeters or more of penetration, feel free to shoot any part of the armor as long as it's flat. So if they don't angle their turret against you, this is only 150 millimeters, but if they're angling the turret, it does go up to 170. And so I apologize in advance to all of the players of this tank, including myself, as I've been having some very successful games in this. And gosh, look at this. 2,216 experience is not enough to get an ace tanker in this vehicle currently. It is certainly getting some very high spiky games. And talking about high spiky games, Galax Ruta is posting quite a few of them. This wasn't his only effort that we just saw the replay of. Check out this one as well. 5,000 damage, 4 kills, 1,837 base experience points. He certainly managed to pick up the knack of playing Big Momma. But I digress, let's focus on the game that we analyzed, and that was Galax's first ace tanker in this. He picked up a cool headed medal, unsurprisingly, for ricocheting 10 hits in a row. You usually only get a cool headed medal against one of the pop autoloaders, a bit like on the PZ-1C. But Galax was able to do that against tanks with 100 millimeters of penetration. He got a Radley Walters medal for killing 8 enemy vehicles, a high caliber medal for doing the most damage in the game. Unsurprisingly, a steel wall medal, and let's just check how much of a steel wall medal that was. Oh my word, 4,000 damage blocked by the armor. That's over 4 times the health points of this vehicle. What an absolutely gigantic result. And of course, Galax got the medal that everyone wants, the Kolobanov's medal for standing alone against 5 enemy opponents. And not a single premium heat round fired nets Galax a cool 58,000, nearly 59,000 credits profit. So Galax, thank you so much for submitting this replay to me. I really appreciated it, and I'm going to go and check out your other monster game as well. But it doesn't look like it was quite as entertaining, because you didn't have to find yourself in a 1 versus 5. God forbid if you had managed to find yourself in a 1v5, you would have probably gone on to do 7,000 damage. And so hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, please consider giving it a like down below. It really helps the channel out. And if this replay has sparked your interest in the Japanese heavies, then simply click through up here and you can go through to an overview going from tier 4 up until tier 10. So you can see what you have to look forward to if you're going to start your way down the Japanese heavy line. and maybe a few tips about how you can take them out effectively on the battlefield if you have no interest in playing them. And let me know in the comments down below what you think about Big Momma. Do you think that this vehicle is completely overpowered? Or do you think it's a case of people not quite knowing how to deal with them? And if you do manage to get yourself out on the battlefield, let me know about how effective these weak points on the vehicle are and whether you've been able to put them to good use. And as always, guys, thank you so much for watching. You've been epic, and hopefully I'll see you soon.